So Lee Williamson, I'm from Leeds in the United Kingdom. Brought up in Leeds, and well, the rest is history. It all goes back to the 70s, in fact, when I was only really small, and we're like at wedding discos and stuff like that, and I would be just up straight away. Absolutely loved music, and my parents just had music on all the time. As I got older, I got into, we were always hanging around the B-boys, and listening to electro and stuff like that. And so I just always wanted to do this, and then my mate then had this Korg, I think it was Korg M1 or something like that. And so then we started playing around with this. It was my mate's dad's as well, and we just kept playing around with this, and we used to have to go up, and then we just kept doing more and more bits like that. And we got, eventually I got a drum machine, which is this RY30 drum machine, and I was doing tracks literally just on this drum machine that also did, I was told it did acid lines, but it was just like a wave, the waves that you could like move up. You could move around with the waves and change little frequency on it a little bit, by a step sequencer. So doing that kind of stuff. We knew a load of guys that were all into music. We started to get to know more and more people around Leeds, and we're a bit of a scene. Well, there really was quite a scene, like there was in the rest of England. But and there was this club eventually called Back to Basics, and we just wanted to get to play it Back to Basics, and that's all we wanted to do. And we used to go to this club and we were just completely inspired, but and there were DJs from all over the world, so we were being inspired by these guys and trying to make this music. And that one day a friend of ours came round with a 303, a Korg Monopoly, I think there was an 808 as well. Anyway, brought these things around and just said, see what you can do with those, and I'll come back round and we'll try and do these tracks. So, but we couldn't get any of these things to work together. So, this is like the days before the internet. If you didn't know somebody who knew how to do it, and we didn't have manuals for these things. So we didn't really get much out of that, apart from this Monopoly had the MIDI, so we could still do this MIDI. But we were making more and more tracks with that, and we had these little cassette tapes, and every day we're just doing another track, and saying we'll get this to basics. And to be honest, I must have 100 of these tapes that we never actually even sent anywhere. So I'm just trying to explain how this went on and on. So we now get into like in 90. After that, I met my wife, and she said, you need to get back into this. I can see how passionate you are about music. You need to do it. So she encouraged me, and I got a few bits again, a few samplers, and then really, really started getting into it again. And then a mate of mine, Phil, who we did Cosmic Groove Transmission with, Phil, So when we made so Phil and I was then getting into it, and we're making more and more of this music, and we'd spent the last 10 years, listening to house and techno, and we were always really into it, and so we were just then making every weekend and every time we could get together, we were just making more and more music. To be honest, we were only sending it to 2020. For a few years, we were only sending to 2020, and they were just not interested. It wasn't their kind of thing. Then one day, the manager there, Barry Singleton, said, "Stuff's really great, He said, "Have you sent it anywhere else?" I'm like, "No." He said, "You need to speak to a guy, David Jurias, in France." And we sent it off to David, and David was buzzing about it, and I'm thinking, I was thinking it was rubbish because, I didn't think that in my heart, but, I was thinking rubbish because we couldn't get gigs off it, and we couldn't get a contract, with 2020. So, but then it was like, David liked it, and in between that time, we then found another guy who'd become a friend for a long time, called James Ellis, who had another label called Drenched, and he picked up on the track. So all of a sudden, we'd got this other release, and then a lot of these tracks that we've been doing, more and more people are becoming interested and liking these tracks, and it just seemed to spiral for a period there. I just get one day and I feel like I've got to make some music, and I've got to get in the studio, and then other days, I've got to play on the Sims. I've got these toys and I need to play on them, and I'd never say that I go in with any preconceived ideas about what I'm going to do ever. I've not got that discipline. And I will play with a piece of kit until, something comes and something sticks. Apart from one track, it was one that I did for David lately, actually, called The Doves of Love. And I was practicing, I was been teaching my son to play the piano, and we're practicing. And we're playing on this little keyboard, and this pattern just came out, and that's the most controlled I've ever been. And I worked out, I worked something out musically for once, and it just felt right. But most of the time, I'm just messing on bits of kit, and trying to make things sound different. But in the end, for me, they always seem to. They don't end up as different as I'd like them to be. So the first one, the Jam for Chicago, well, I bought some new kit. I think it was Laurent Calat I was talking with, and we'd been talking about the new Behringer kit that was coming out, and he'd mentioned about this TD3 and the TD8 as well. And I just went and ordered it on a whim. We were out on a walk, and I went and ordered this RD8, and then I got the RD3. There's no real sense why I bought these, but there never is, So I got these, and I put them out on my desk, and shiny new toys, and I just started playing, and came up with a beat, and then just played and came up with a riff, and I was like, I really like this. And I was the good thing about that TD8 is it's kind of it's playable. You know, you use the 808 and it's what is it, 30 or 40 years ago, and it's not got that playability. Like you can solo and do all kinds of stuff on this RD8. Doesn't sound as good, but it's close and it's fun. So I got these two things, and it was in lockdown, and we went out. I went out with the family, went for a walk, and I just decided, right, I'm going to go live with this on Facebook. You know, I thought I'm just going to ad lib and see where it goes. So it was the middle of the summer in this sweaty room, and I said it was going to be at 4 o'clock or something. Put messages out, and then I just jammed. I literally just jammed, and the energy I was getting off it was just really buzzing from it. So then I was getting really inspired about doing live stuff again. In my fashion, I got the RD8 and the TD3 and put those back in the box. I sold the RD8, and I've not got the TD3 out since. But what I did is I thought I'll have a go now. See, I thought I'll now get the 303 out, and for some reason I was feeling a bit more techno, so I got the 909 out. And I just again, it was just I put a beat in, messed around for 5 minutes on the 303, and I was like, I'm buzzing again, and I was jumping around like crazy. I'm thinking, I've got another one here, and this was like, I don't know if it was a week after or 2 weeks after. So same thing, we went out for the walk. I said we'll do it at 4 o'clock, and did this live set again. In that it's not a studio thing, it's not structured, it's just raw. For me, it felt like raw energy, so that's how both those happened. So there's one thing that's been bothering me lately. That is, number one is believing yourself. I was told this a long time ago, I've never really understood, I don't think. But it's like, if you think it's good, it's good. And I think that's the number one thing with music, if something's making you buzz, I mean, I'm talking about dance music, I guess, but when I say buzz, but if it gives you a feeling, in general, if it gives you a feeling, then it's good, and you're conveying what you're trying to get across, So then moving on from that, I would say finish what you're doing. That's the next one. Finish what you're doing, and don't stick in loops, because I've spent years and years stuck in loops. And if you finish a track from start to finish, even if it's only got 4 elements in it, then you can look at that and you can look at what else it needs. But if you've got a loop going round and round, and I've got a hard drive, probably like yourself, hard drive full of amazing loops, but often it's like, where do I go with that? How do I make that into something else? And then you never use it again. So always finish it. For me, having a new piece of kit always helps me. And that's a problem I've got, and we all got. But yeah, putting something back in the box for a year or two is all. If you've got enough pieces of kit, put something back in the box and get it out and pretend it's new again, and that for me works as well. I've done a lot of music this year, and that is from being stuck in. It seems bad, but it's not made too much of a difference to me. If anything, I spend more time with my family and more time making music. So even though there's been lots of, real bad stuff going on, and obviously, listening to the news and knowing what's going on, that that does affect you, and by making the music, that always helps me. I get through life by making music. For me, it's an escape. That really helps. But yeah, I mean, especially, I did do a track actually but I got ill. I'm sure I had COVID, but there were no tests or anything like that, and I felt really vulnerable, and I was really upset at that point. And I did that track. I don't know if I played it to you, but this track, I don't know what it was. You can pigeonhole it, but it was just some music that I did with a little bit of dodgy singing on there, and that just really helped me. And I tried to push it to people just to spread the message, because it was just about spreading the message of, looking after each other. But so that helped me. But yeah, sometimes I feel bad because, I know of a lot of people who have got ill, and even now I know somebody who's really ill from it. And where's the end to this at the minute,